want to spend a little bit of time today going into what is the most passionate thing for me, which is selfless. So selfless, again, is a very complex but simple at the same time. And I don't know how you can kind of say both of those in the same sentence, but it's complex in the way that it works behind the scenes, but it's very simple on the front side. And selfless is a way for us to create sustainable giving for the fight against human trafficking. And I always tell people that there's just some things in the world that you see and you can never forget. Some things you feel that you'll never be able to get rid of the feeling. And something that just moves you to the point where it's about your existence, and it's about something that you want to do. And I like to say that it becomes a life of significance, because it's more than just money. It's more than helping, something that's important to you in like a light fashion, but it's truly about changing the way that you focus on what you do things for, what drives you deeply. And this is the thing that happened to me in 2018. In 2018, we were looking for a way to bring a charity, because I'm all about social entrepreneurship, which I'll talk about here in just a second. And I had been trying for over 15 years to find the perfect platform to bring a social entrepreneurship business to the market. And doing it with businesses that already exist, it's very difficult because the model wasn't established from the very beginning. And so I've always been trying to do that. And so in 2018, we were going to roll out a skincare product line, and we were looking for the right charity that we could get behind. And I hadn't really heard that much about, human trafficking. Yeah, we heard about sex trafficking, and you know it's out there, but you never thought it was in the US. You always thought it was like in Thailand or, these places in the other world that are just, you would think it would be the ones that would be manipulated the most. I had no idea that it was like in our backyard, right in front of our faces every single day. And in 2018, we were down in Dallas, and we were meeting with a group and they were all ex, military or intelligence, and they had just been rocked to their core as well by participating in, all their, saving of kids and bringing people out of this bondage. And at that point in time, they had brought in 3 kids at that very moment that we were there to see this. And it was just so impactful to see. Number one, you can't imagine the ability for a human being to have so little compassion and so much evil within them to do something like that to kids. Number 2, just to see how their lives, will always be affected by this one, part of their life, that they're young and they have a whole life ahead of them, but they will always be directed now by what's happened to them at this age. And at the end of it, you also just heard these guys talk about the word freedom and how we get to make a decision every day. Whether I get to wake up at 7 or whether I get to wake up at 8, whether I get to go out and do something with my friends today or not, whether I ever have a chance to even have a friend or not. Those are choices that we get to make every single day, and we make those choices without ever thinking about it, and we take them for granted every single day. And yet there's over 40 million people in this world right now that don't have that choice. And it's the most that's ever existed in slavery in the world right now. And so this has rocked me to create Selfless. And what Selfless is a self-sustainable way of creating the funding to fund the charities that are doing the best work. Not that Selfless becomes the charity, but Selfless is the fundraiser for everyone out there. Because what we noticed when we started looking deeply into the whole charity model is that the charities spend 80% of their time raising money. They're raising money. They're not trying to go out and do the good work. They're just trying to get enough money to go and do the work. And we want to eliminate the 80% so that they don't have to worry about the money. They can spend all of their time building this business or building their front line to go and take care of whatever it is that they're doing. Now, we also know that this is a very complex thing. I mean, human trafficking is not just as easy as I go snatch your kid. That's not actually the way it works. It's very complex, and they use technologies, and they do all these things to groom the kids, to pick the kids, and it's not even just kids. It's about tricking people who are is so desperate to get a job that they get a great job offer, and they go to another country and they take their passports and they can never leave. There's so many things that happen in this world that you don't understand, that when you start to realize it, you just want to make some way to get involved. And that's what we're doing with Selfless. So Selfless is a way for us to get involved. And we do this through Web3. And so it's very transparent. We have a token. And when you hold that token, that makes you the ability to actually vote on where this money goes and to make sure that the money's going in the right place, because we believe competition drives everything. And so right now we have 40.3 million people that are out in the world in slavery. It's called what it is. It's modern day slavery that we can be a part of to start breaking it apart. And that's what we're all about. We break this into 3 phases. And I don't want you to have to think that you have to know all of this, but I want you to understand how we put this together so that it makes this sustainable giving. And to do the things that we want to do is to end this entire nightmare that people are going through, is you have to do it with the front lines of 5 different areas. We call it the 5 Ps, and it's to prevent trafficking. So we have to have prevention. This is about, education is a big part of that. Then we have to protect those that are vulnerable. We have to prosecute the traffickers. We have to have profit annihilation. So we have to take these people who are making money based on this. And I'll give you a good example. Pornhub would be a good example, where most of those people that are on there are brought in by trafficking and they're making money. So if we can eliminate the profit they make it, so they don't have a reason to do it anymore, that's a big part of it. And then we also have our passionate recovery, which is once they're brought out, you got to give them ability to recover so that they don't go back in it. Because most of the time they go right back in because they have no support system around them. They don't have anybody around them. And unfortunately, a lot of people will look at them as damaged goods. And so we have found people who fit into all 5 of these places of us to attack and to protect this. Our revenue generation. Well, how do we do that? Well, revenue generation is coming from companies like us, companies like other people that are attaching into this, that are giving in part of the donation is 10% of the sales. We take it and we give it into SELFLES. SELFLES then leaves it to you who are holding tokens to go vote as to where that money goes every month. And everything is transparent. It's all done in Web3. So you get to see that. And what I mean by Web3, if you're not into cryptocurrencies or not, essentially you're getting a token that's a cryptocurrency that gives you the right to vote, and your vote counts. And it's a simple thing that every month you'll just get a text that says, hey, who would you like to give your money to? And you can give a percentage of the money. And who, at the end of the day, we just total those up, and that's where it is. And this money goes to the charities that have been selected. There's also a big part of this about an engaging community. And a community that's 1 million plus strong can change the world. I truly believe that. Because when you get people that are coming together all for one big common cause, you have a bigger voice, and their voice can be heard, and it starts to get even more amplification when you can wrap it around things like RUBI. That's going to be huge. We're going to be huge around the world, and it's a worldwide problem, and everybody wants to fight on it. This is going to be huge to be able to attach it to RUBI and all of its verticals and the things that it's doing as well. But guys, it's not just RUBI. We have Uncommon. We have all these people that are coming in to be part of that. Every company that we talk to on our other company, our back office company, is also going to be shown this and being a part of this. And it's really hard to say no. We have a little saying on our stuff that just says there's no neutral in this fight. You're either for it or you're against it. And you can't stand idly by and watch it. So those are the things that we're doing. And we have just a huge group that we want to drive very quickly into this. And so when we open this up, this will be one of the first things that we'll want to drive on the social side to get the community going. And what is the value of the community? It's not just about seeing what's going on and being a part of that, but there's value in the community, because in the communities where you can get discounts, that's where you can be part of, getting things from the companies that are pushing out there. And I'll give you a good example would be, let's say an ability to get a fuel card that will give you maybe 5 cents off on a gallon if you go to that specific brand gas. Which is great about that is that those are the companies that are given 10 cents. You get the 5 cents, and those other 5 cents is going to the charity. These are the type of things that we're putting together on this side that's going to make a huge difference in, again, social entrepreneurship. If you're not familiar with that, it's just real simple. You can't change the world's biggest problems through giving. If we could, we wouldn't have any problems, because there's plenty of people out there that can give money. But the problem is that the gifts take time, and they take away from what the real goal is. But you can change through consumption, because people consume every single day without thinking anything about it. And the 5 cents, the 10 cents, the $1, the $3, you see the roundups, you see the reasons why people do this. because it truly does make a big difference in the amount of funding that these people have to go and make the fight. Now, the last part about this is, who are their charities? Well, we go through and we do a lot of vetting. We look at their taxes. We do interviews with them. And as we put the community together, they will make a pitch to the community about why they deserve your money. Why do they deserve to be the ones that are getting the money for their fight? And the more that they bring into the table about the results that they're getting and the reason why they're the ones that should get the money, is going to make sure that every dime that we bring in to Selfless is going to be used to do the right thing. That's what we're all about on Selfless. So hopefully this gives a little bit of vision as to what it is. I'm super passionate about it, if you can't tell, and it's going to be something that's going to just be even more powerful in where we're going as a company.